Good morning. This is Melissa with thestockswish.com, and I'm here today to tell you about a webinar that I'm going to be doing this Monday, February 25th, and it is on support and resistance in trading. My name is Melissa Armo, and I own a company called The Stock Swoosh LLC. If you're interested in more information after watching this video or coming to the free webinar, you can feel free to contact me at melissa@thestockswish.com. Also, I have many videos on YouTube you can go watch, or you can look me up on Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. So the live webinar event details are the following. The topic is support and resistance in trading. The date is Monday, February 25th. The time is 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you are interested, please go to onlinetradercentral.com and register there. Registration is required for the event, prior to the event. So, is it possible to make money trading? Everyone talks about this. People ask themselves this. They desire to make money in the market. And sometimes they ask themselves, is it possible? Does this dream seem like it's even possible for you? And the answer is yes, it is possible. It is possible to make money trading in the market. It's possible as one individual to make money trading in the market. You have to know what you're doing. But the fact is the dream is very much 100% realistic and possible. One of the things that is required in order to make money trading as an individual successfully in the market is to learn a more intelligent way to read charts. You can't just look at a chart and look at the base thing that's going on there. You have to get to a point within your trading where you say, you know what, I see this clearly. And I call that sophisticated chart reading. That's what I call it. This is what the webinar is about, and this is also what I teach. It's a more sophisticated way to read charts. What do I mean by this? What do I mean by sophisticated chart reading? What do I mean by sophisticated support and resistance, which is really part of chart reading? Support and resistance can be read in many different ways. 5 different people could line up in a room and all of them would look at support and resistance differently. They would all look at the charts differently too, by the way, and this is part of chart reading. Why? Because people think that support and resistance is an easy read. Most people assume, and they assume incorrectly, that it is not as important as it is, but most people do not take a lot of time to focus on the complexities of it. Support and resistance is complex. Chart reading has its own complexities. Support and resistance is complex, and there is a sophisticated way to read it. And this is what we're going to talk about on Monday night. If you can learn how to read support and resistance properly, you will have an edge in your trading. Why? Because many people cannot do this. Many people do not even know that they need to do this. Okay, first of all, learn that you need to have this skill set, number 1, and then learn it. Because having the skill set is important, and learning it and knowing it and getting it right will give you an edge in your trading because most people don't have it. And this is part of the reason why you can line up 5 different people in a room. You could line up 20 different people in a room, and they're all going to look at something differently. Well, who's right? The person that really understands the complexities of support resistance and chart reading and has a sophisticated read on it. You've got to step outside of the box with support and resistance. Look at this cat here. He is so squished up and stuck up in that box. It's hard to believe that he looks comfortable. In fact, he's not comfortable. The box looks like it's going to break. So before the box breaks, step outside of the box with your own chart reading skills with support and resistance. Be willing to look at a new viewpoint. Be willing to reconsider the way that you've been reading support and resistance. Be willing to look at it at an intellectual vantage point and say, yes, this is more complex than I thought. I want to get this right. I want to have an edge in my trading. I know it's possible to make a lot of money trading. How can I do this? Will this put me over the edge, over the mountain to get where I need to be to really see what's going on with the price? So here's an example. This is an example of a stock I just traded yesterday. This was MM. This is support and resistance. Here's a good example. This was a gap. I trade gaps. And I teach a class called the Golden Gap. And here it is, this stock gap down on this day. Now, let's just briefly look at a couple things here. Here's the price of the stock where it gapped down. And it gapped down in the morning under this level here, all the way back across of support. All right, that's what this did here. But I want to look very briefly at something that happened here right before the gap, right before the earnings came out. The stock was scooping up like this. Now you can say, well, this is support. And therefore this was rallying and making a new area, made a higher high here, up from the last couple of months. Therefore it was going to rally and turn around. It was a long now. Therefore let's buy it. It just held support in here, back from here and here. Look at how it's moving up. Look at this nice big green bar. No, that's not how I read it. And why I played the gap as well. I knew that the gap was going to work because all these people bought in here. And what happens to these people? They're under money then today, or the day of the gap. This was a rally into resistance. In fact, it didn't even make it up to this highest level up here of resistance. In fact, look, let's take it across. It only went up to this level of resistance here. You see this? That's all that it was. So we'll talk about this on Monday, but the bottom line is this is more complex than it seems. And there is a way to learn it, and I teach this. It's so important. People don't realize how important it is. People go along and they trade and they're back and forth and they don't understand why they're missing stuff because they're looking at things in a way that probably many people are looking at things, or maybe they were taught to look at things in a certain way, but it's not complete. It's not complete. It's not sophisticated enough. And that's the best way that I can describe it. Here's a bigger chart here. This is goes back a year or so, longer, where you can really see how this played out. Okay, this is a better picture. You can see how this played out here, where this rally took place up in here, and then the gap on the day of. And it actually broke under this area here by only a couple of pennies, but it did break. This is the day of the gap when it traded under it. Beautiful, beautiful gap, beautiful trade. Here's a 15-minute. Ran down in the morning, the first 15 minutes, broke through that area, broke through that $9 actually on the first 15 minutes of trading. Beautiful example of weakness in the stock. Rallied back and set its own level here of resistance on the day. You know that stocks can create their own areas, brand new areas that never happened even before they can create as well. And then they play out. That's another reason why you need to learn how to do this in a more sophisticated manner, because not only do things happen from prior areas, but stocks make new areas all the time, and they do it in real time on the day, and you must see them and learn to use them and read them right then when they're happening to play them to make money. And this is another reason why it's important, and this is another reason why it's somewhat complex. So here's support and resistance in the 5-minute chart. Again, another good example. Stock ran down, rallied up, made a little area here, ran up, made an area of resistance, came and booped above it here because it wanted to rally more during this time frame, but all it went is up to the same area up here that it made on the day, back already in the morning, the first 5 minutes a day. Do you see? It just went to the next level of resistance, came in here, and this area was already made. Do you see that? Held, and when it started to break, then it was back down again into the next area, where it broke under, and I think it did break under a little bit before the close, and it just ran in a day here. So this 5-minute is a good example because this full rally went up to here. Even the bottom of this one bar here in the 5-minute is an area of resistance. It's real. The stock's trading on the day. People were in here. It counts. So this was the play. Here was the play that I did, that I called live in my trading room, that I traded on Wednesday. Got in right here. Right in here. And where was the area of resistance that I put my stop? $10 to the whole number. Opened, dropped. Beautiful play. Almost $1. It was $1 move in here. And got out on this tail. It continued down. Here's where it even continued even more. But it broke $9 here. You really got to be out into this push, because you don't know if it's going to rally back after a move like this. 6 minutes, you get $1, you got to be out. So here it was. The entry time was $9.31. The price of the entry was $9.73. Stop was over $10, or risk was 27 cents on 1,500 shares. If you risked $405, you made $1,110 in 6 minutes. So it's over $1,000 in 6 minutes. That's a beautiful thing. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. And I just want to point out one more thing. You could have added right here at the exact same price as the initial entry price, which was $9.73. Now, what does that mean also? There's another example of support and resistance in a sophisticated manner to read the chart to actually add to it. There's so many ways once you learn how to do this that you can do it to help you get an edge in your trading. There's so many ways to learn support and resistance to use to help you for taking positions, for exiting positions, for adding to positions, for putting stops to your positions. It's an endless sea of beautiful ways to make money once you learn how to do this in the sophisticated manner that you need to know it, because it's just not easy peasy, look at this one thing, do it at a whole number, and boom, on a sell setup. It's not like that. It is complex, and there is a certain level of sophistication behind it. And it's important to understand that and to know that if you want to have an edge in your trading, because otherwise you're going to be like a lot of people, and you're going to look at something 10 different ways. And the one person that really looks and picks at it and looks at the detail and doesn't miss a trick is the one that's going to make the money and grab this thing and add to it and take the whole thing and make more money and maximize the play in 6 minutes and be done and off for the rest of the day. So the whole purpose of this webinar on Monday night is to help you to get an edge in your trading, to learn more about the complexities of support and resistance, and to learn a more sophisticated way to read charts in this manner. If you do this, it will help you to sustain yourself as a trader, to have more longevity and consistency in your trading. Trading is about consistency and longevity if you want to stay in the game and if you want to make money over the long haul, and a lot of money too. If you want to have longevity, you need to produce consistent results. If you want to produce consistent results in the market, you need something to give you an edge in your trading, at least one thing or several things. Having a detailed focus system and a strategy like the Golden Gap 26 points gives you an edge, and this will help you make money trading each day. It's something that I call conviction and the power of conviction that helps assist you as a trader to move forward, to grab hold of these things, to learn something new like gaps. And you've got to learn to take every trade you make with conviction. The difference between trading with conviction and without conviction is night and day. This is something else that I teach in my class as well. It's the difference between making money some of the time or losing, and that's a big difference. It's a difference between making a lot of money or a little, and that's a big difference. It's a difference between taking a lot of sides or cutting a trade short. It's a difference between winning or losing. It's the difference between making money over the long haul and having longevity in the market, or only being in the game for a short period of time. Don't let that happen to you. Get this thing right. Learn. Take a class from someone like me and get it right the first time. Don't let yourself get caught up in the system without being successful. Some people do it over and over and over again. Just get smart quicker. Just learn the stuff and get smart quicker. Get sharp and get the edge quicker. So this is about having the power of conviction to know that this is an intellectual pursuit, that learning how to trade properly and making a lot of money in the market is an intellectual pursuit. And you need to have some conviction in yourself and the market in order to proceed and learn this stuff and get it right. There is nothing like trading with conviction. There really is no comparison. It seriously is like night and day, and you cannot live a successful trading life without it. If you do not have conviction in your strategy, learn a new one. Learn a new one. Learn the one that I teach, which is how to trade gaps. And I actually have a 26-point checklist that I look at each morning when I'm rating which gap, which stock I'm going to play. That's how I chose MM yesterday. It rated 24 points. I look at 26 things that I'm looking at on the stock, on the daily chart of the stock, in order to decide what I am choosing to trade that day. And then I trade that gap. And that leads to my success. So the class that I'm doing in March is called the Golden Gap course. It is a professional bearish gap system course that I teach. It is a 2-day system that you can learn on March 9th and 10th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. The cost is $15.99 for the class. If you're interested in more information, please contact me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com. There will be a special offered, a special for March, for people who attend the Online Trader Central webinar on Monday the 25th. So if you're interested in attending the webinar, go to the OnlineTraderCentral.com website and register, and contact me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com for more information on the webinar and the Golden Gap course in March 9th and 10th. Remember, winter is a great season to take a class because it's cold out and you're home and you have time to do stuff like study. So it's really a good season to stay indoors and learn things and study and take classes. Remember, success requires calculated risk. That calculated risk might be, I'm going to spend the money to take a class that is going to teach me something that's very important that I need to assist me to make money in the market trading. Something that's going to give me an edge. Will this 26-point rating system give me an edge? Will learning how to read charts in a sophisticated manner help give me an edge? The answer is yes. That's calculated risk. Going into the market and trading without having the information like a class like mine, without having taken it, without having done it, without having learned the information, or learned how to read charts properly, is just plain risk. It's just risky, period. And the market will take your money if you don't know how to trade right. That's why it's important to take a class. Even though it's an investment in yourself, it's an investment in your time and your future, and it's calculated risk. Like this guy. He has his helmet on to go get the cheese. This is a calculated risk. He's got the helmet on. He's ready. Look at him. He's poised here to jump and get that as quick as he can and run into the hole. He doesn't want to get caught in the trap. That's why he's got the helmet on, and he's going to jump fast. And this needs to be you taking my class before you go after the money in the market, so you know exactly how to take MM at 9:31 in the morning and make over $1,000 in 6 minutes on the day. That's calculated risk, and it's important to learn how to do that. Remember, you can do it. It's possible. It's possible with an investment of your time and money, and it doesn't have to be thousands and thousands and thousands of hours and money in the market, okay? It could be something that you learn how to do and sit down and learn it and take a course and study. I also run a live trading room if you're interested. It's called the Stock Swoosh Live Trading Room. The hours are 8 a.m. to noon. If you're interested in the room rate for students who take my class is $200, and for non-students is $250. Contact me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com for more information. And I hope to see you at the webinar on February 25th. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you Monday night.